the Democrat president, Barack Obama, to be, very soon, is controlled by particularly a guy called Zbigniew Brzezinski, who was the National Security Advisor to Jimmy Carter and was the co-founder with David Rockefeller of an organization called the Trilateral Commission, set up in 1973, which is a major manipulator of world events and political events, not just in America, but in other parts of the world as well. And next to Brzezinski, you've got his associate, the financier George Soros, and a stream of other connected people. But they connect at the next level of the pyramid into the same organizations that the neocons controlling Bush connected into. So all we've done, Rebecca, is move from one mask on the same face to another mask on the same face. However, what's happened is that I've talked for years about a technique I call problem, reaction, solution. You create the problem and then you offer the solution. And George Bush has been used over the last 8 years to create endless problems, military problems, financial problems, desperate financial problems. And now what we're seeing is Barack Obama being moved in as the apparent, emphasis on the apparent, solution to these problems. And he's got in by saying 3 words basically, especially one, change, another one, believe, another one, hope. At no point have these words had any specifics attached to them in terms of what that means. And this is a massive mind control operation, because what they've done is created a situation where Barack Obama, over the last 2 years, particularly over the last one, has become a screen on which people project their versions of what is hope and what is change and what is something to believe in. And so he, by not specifying what those mean to him, has allowed himself to be this screen on which all these people around America have projected their version of it. Now we're going to specifics because the deal's done, he's got in, and what's happened? All these players that have been manipulating the Republican side of the pyramid for years, who were in the Clinton administration, the Bill Clinton administrations, the 2 periods as president, and the networks around George Soros and Zbigniew Brzezinski, they're all being brought in to be the change administration of Barack Obama, when it's just more of the same. And it's been a complete con job, because if you look at Obama's background in one of the most corrupt political systems in the world, in Chicago, it stinks to high heaven, and this is absolutely not a man to be trusted. And I'll just say one more thing. Do we really think, it seems a lot of people do, that within this system, that we are going to have a truly independent person who is going to appear out of nowhere? He's going to attract record amounts of funding for a presidential campaign from the very sources in Wall Street, etc., that his change is perceived to be going to challenge, and run the slickest campaign in American history, and all that is just going to come out of nowhere. My goodness me. I mean, it's naivety anonymous. He was selected a long time ago, back in the 80s, when he and Brzezinski were at the Columbia University together. And Brzezinski as a major lecturer and professor, etc., and Obama as a student. And the Trilateral Commission and its associated foundation network, like the Ford Foundation, have nursed the boy through to what he's become. He never came out of nowhere. He's been planned for a very long time. And it's a staggering fact that he's about to be inaugurated a few weeks from now, and he's still yet not provided the proof that he was born in the United States, when his half-sister, his half-brother, and his grandmother in Kenya say he was born there.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy around that, and of course they've kind of squashed that. I've been watching that a little bit, David, how they've been doing that.
Yeah.
And, you're absolutely right when you talk about the pyramid. I mean, we talk about the United States, the Senate and the Congress, well, both sides of the coin, Republicans and Democrat, both are still in those, political, separation as much as one's a Republican and one's a Democrat. But really, what does that mean? I mean, it used to mean something, or it was supposed to mean something, but in the old days, but really, it is really this, it's just the opposite side of the same coin. That's all it is.
That's all it is. And Barack Obama is, and this will sound staggering to many people in the United States who have bought the Obama myth. He's far more dangerous than Bush because he can sell a line. George Bush could only take this so far because he had no communication skills and was, shall we say, a blatantly not the most intelligent man ever to walk the world.
Oh my goodness, that's an understatement.
I know. So he could only take this so far. And, people talk about fascism. And, the writer Webster Tarpley makes a very good point when he points out that, fascism is perceived as a top-down hierarchical structure where the few impose their will on the many. Now, it ends up like that, and that's why we think of it like that. But when you look at the fascist movements in Germany and in Italy and in other places, they actually came out of a movement of the people. We had in Germany, again, a massive problem, incredible inflation, economic collapse, military collapse, Germany in a terrible state because of the reparations imposed after the First World War. And along came a man who talked about hope, who talked about giving Germany its pride back and its standing in the world, and who talked about having something to believe in. And his name was Adolf Hitler. And he was, people forget, he was voted into power to start with. And with a massive wave of support from the people because of what they perceived him to stand for. And there was great unity. Obama talks about unity. Well, unity in and of itself is irrelevant. It's what the unity is behind. There was great unity in Germany behind Hitler and the Nazis for a long time until it suddenly dawned on them what they'd actually bought. It wasn't a dream, it was a nightmare. Similar thing happened in Italy, a people's movement in terms of bringing Mussolini to power and stuff like that. When I see Obama talking about having a civilian national security force, when I see him talking about compulsory for school children and college students to do in effect national service or community service, not because they're inspired to, but because they're told to. It's compulsory, and many other things. It doesn't feel good to me at all, and because it's being sold as hope, as something to believe in, as coming together, as unity, as giving America its pride back, and all this stuff, some very unpleasant policies can be introduced under the guise of that, which only a few years down the road was what they've actually signed up to. That's the danger, because he's got this. Well, if you're awake, he hasn't got the ability. He's an open book. I mean, he's the most openly fraudulent speaker and manipulator of the audience. But if you're not, then you can see that he can get people to believe in things because he has done. He's got them to believe in him when he's actually got no political record. His background in Chicago is full of dirty deals and supporting crooks like Tony Rezko and stuff, the slum landlord who got massive amounts of money from the Chicago state system to run public housing, and is now in jail because he defrauded the state out of a lot of money, and also fraudulently was using corruption to get from businesses if they wanted to do business with the state, because he was controlling those organizations they had to do business with within the state. And Obama's right in the middle of this. And when I started to research his background, when you see his history in Chicago and the thought that he went through an entire primary campaign with Hillary Clinton and an entire election campaign with John McCain, and the mainstream media in America did not bring out anything but a tiny fraction of what there is to bring out about Barack Obama. People are going to, who bought the Obama myth, are going to be very, very disappointed and indeed very shocked in the next few years. And I suspect, Rebecca, that because he's going to have a good honeymoon period because of all the hype, I really do expect that they'll want to squeeze every second out of that honeymoon period, and things will start to kick on very fast once he's officially inaugurated in January.